Welcome to Anticipating Christ's Return YouTube channel, a place where we can gather together and joyfully anticipate the return of our Lord. I hope you enjoy.
Good morning, everyone. I am thrilled to be here with you today. I am so excited for this video, and even though it's directed for the Relief Society and the women of the church, this video is a topic that everyone can learn from and everyone needs to be a part of. So I hope you'll join with me today as we deep dive the Worldwide Relief Society broadcast and the exciting things that were talked about. And in this video, I want to focus on one part of what was said during this devotional. It has direct correlation with what we talk about on this channel anyway, and so let's dive in. Before I press play, it's going to start with Sister Yee, and then it's going to go over to Sister Johnson, and I have it positioned to where I want it to start. This is for you all, and I hope that this resonates with you, that no matter if you are old or young or feel like you can do this or not, this work is for all of us. And we each have our own gifts and talents to fulfill what we have been sent here on earth at this time to do. So let me play it.
We began here with our covenants, and that perpetuates forever. All the choices we make today matter. They matter not just for you, but for those that will come after and those that are before. On this side of the veil and on the other side of the veil, as we keep our covenants. And I think there are many sisters, perhaps in our Relief Society today, maybe they feel like they're too young or they're too old, or maybe they're not educated or they're not, whatever that you fill in the blank, that you might feel that maybe you're not prepared to do this work. But we want to share with you that you are, and we need you today. The Lord needs you today to be a part of this. You have gifts and talents which are so needed now in the world.
Okay, I'm going to press pause really fast because then it dives into something else, which is the topic of this whole video. But I love what she says because I hear these same comments by other people. And your gifts and talents do not have to be the same as my gifts and talents. You don't have to be excited, like overly excited about everything in order to participate in the work. You don't have to be young to participate in the work, and you certainly don't have to be old to participate in the work. And I think for a long time, and maybe this is just like my own point of view, right? But for a long time, the church was something that like old people got into. And I love seeing that now there are young people getting excited for the church, or for the church, for the gospel. And I love seeing that truly the souls that have come into this world for this time, regardless, like if you are living, you have been sent here at this time. So I don't want people to be like, oh, well, they've been saying that forever. Well, you're still living on this earth. So you have been sent for this time, and we all have a purpose. But I love that these young souls that have been coming are wanting to be engaged and learn, and they feel that it is just as much a part of their work as it is the older generation's work. And we are working together. And I love that. One of the comments that I love to get is just like how, first of all, when people say like, oh, you're so young and so wise. Stop it, really. No, I'm just teasing. But, we can all be wise if we heed the counsel of the Lord and his chosen representatives. And as we daily immerse ourselves in the scriptures and prayer, that is where wisdom comes. And a lot of times in the world, which I think we also can receive wisdom from, of the world by doing these things too. Like And what I mean by of the world is like, I think we can receive wisdom of how to manage our budgets, how to, be better at our jobs, how to do stuff like that. But I think all of the wisdom that we receive comes from God. And so anyway, I loved what Sister Kristen Yee says about it is everyone's job to be a part of this. And we need all hands on deck, really, because Christ is coming again. And that is what Sister Johnson is going to say. So let me go and play that for you. So this is right after what Sister Kristen Yee says. This is Camille Johnson.
We've received prophetic direction that as sisters we can and should change the world. We need to prepare the world for the second coming of the Savior Jesus Christ. And how will we do that? Well, we will do that by creating a covenant community. And sometimes my covenant community is I'm a covenant community of one, really two, as I have a covenant relationship with him.
That's true.
But then your covenant community can expand and grow. I'm reminded of an experience I had recently. It was really beautiful. It was a group of Relief Society sisters. We were all sitting in a circle, knee to knee. I was in a district, and I was meeting with the District Relief Society president, the district primary president, and the district young women president, who had been a baptized member of the church for just 1 month. And she felt a little overwhelmed and was expressing some concern to all of us about how she was going to accomplish her new assignment. And my favorite part of that meeting is when the Relief Society president turned to her and just with all sincerity said, "Don't worry, we will help you." And that's the idea. Wherever we are, we create that covenant community focused on Jesus Christ. And with those innate gifts that are given to us, we take care of each other. And
oh, yes. Okay, let's talk about this. So I love, first of all, let's just go back to when she said, we have had this prophetic, this prophetic guidance, this prophetic call to prepare, to change the world and to prepare the world for the second coming. I love how she said we can and should change the world, and that we have been asked to prepare the world for the second coming of Jesus Christ. Now that is what I have felt called to do as well. And President Nelson has not been quiet about this. He has been asking us for years, multiple years, since he has become prophet. This has been a huge emphasis. And I hope that this emphasis, I can't imagine this emphasis going away anytime soon because Jesus Christ is coming again, right? But his emphasis on the second coming, preparing the world for the second coming of Jesus Christ, and temples, which, why temples? Well, because then Sister Camille Johnson said, how are we going to do this? How are we going to prepare the world for the second coming? By this covenant community. And then she goes into it and explains how that looks in real life. So she says, it starts out with just one. And then she goes, well, really two. Because why? Because we have God. Okay, so we have God up here. I'm writing down a note. But we have God up here, and we make this covenant with God, who the mediator of this covenant is Jesus Christ. So we make a covenant with God through Jesus Christ, us, and that binds us to Jesus Christ to Jesus Christ and to God when we make this covenant. So in every covenant, there is two people, us and God. Really, you could even add Jesus Christ, okay? And then what do we do after we make this covenant? We reach out. And then we gather in our community. So we have God, me, I've made a covenant with God, and every covenant I make with him, starting at baptism and then throughout the temple, right? We make several more covenants with God. It deepens that covenant connection. It strengthens it. Imagine it like a rope that includes several different strands to make that tighter. And then as we continue to keep our covenants and as we continue to develop that relationship, that covenant relationship gets stronger and more strands are added, strengthening our connection to God. Then it makes us want to reach out and gather in those around us and create this covenant community. Now, I'm just going to apply this to my channel that I have here. Now, it should then go to family members, right? I have my husband, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but the marriage triangle where you covenant. So we can apply it to this. So God is at the top, and then you make the covenant with God, and then your husband also makes a covenant with God. You are each covenanting with God, and then you make this marriage covenant together, but both first covenant with God. Isn't that interesting? That marriage, when you are married in the everlasting covenant, that you covenant to God, and then because you each covenanted with God, then you can covenant with each other, and it makes this triangle. Well, then your family is in this covenant, born in this covenant. You could put your little family inside this triangle of this covenant, and then it is up to them eventually to make their own covenants with God. And it is important. They cannot rely on my testimony or my husband's testimony. They eventually need to gain their own conviction and make their own covenants. Even though they were born in the covenant, they need to eventually make their own covenant with God. But then this community just grows and grows and grows. Now I think of my channel where we do have this. We are covenant keepers. We have each made a covenant to God. And then I love the story of this sister that had just been baptized a month before and then gets this big calling and she's feeling overwhelmed. And then this more mature sister in the church says, "We've got you. We're going to help you." That is covenant community. And I think of that with this channel of everyone is on their own path. Everyone is at their own pace, right? We're not all going to run the race at the same pace, but we're running the same race. And how can we help? Well, maybe some of us are faster than others, but we could encourage the other ones as we go by. Or maybe we don't necessarily, we need to take a breather, so we encourage someone else next to us who is, right, going at our own pace. Whatever it looks like, we can help others along the way. We don't want to say, you know what, let's just give up. We're not suited for this. We are suited for this. And the reason why we are suited for this race is because Jesus Christ will help us. He will carry us when we can't go anymore. That is the covenant we make. We make a covenant with God, and God promises us that He will send His Son, among other things. That we can do this because Jesus Christ overcame the world. So, how are we going to prepare the world for the return of Jesus Christ? By living our covenants and then becoming this covenant community. Now, why is covenant directly related to the second coming of Jesus Christ? That's something that we all need to study. I think it's interesting going to Malachi. Let me actually pull this up. I wasn't planning on using this, but let me pull it up for you. Okay, first I'm going to take you to Malachi chapter 3. So in this chapter, it says, "Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts." So this is in Malachi. And so who is the messenger? Okay, we know that John the Baptist came and paved the way for Jesus Christ to come. We also know that Joseph Smith was called to restore the gospel of Jesus Christ, the church of Jesus Christ, the way that Christ established it when he came. So I think Joseph Smith is a fulfillment of this prophecy, that he is the messenger that came to prepare the way before the Lord. He restored the covenants, the temple covenants. But I also just don't want to, I think there are multiple fulfillments. I think Joseph Smith was the main fulfillment, maybe, just kind of like John the Baptist was the main fulfillment for Jesus Christ. But I think there are other fulfillments of this. And I think, we know that the restoration of the gospel is continuing. It has been continuing because they continue to receive revelation for the church. The prophets and apostles do through councils and so on and so forth, right? But the prophet, I do just want to clarify that the prophet leads and guides the church. So today, I think we could very easily say that President Nelson is probably a fulfillment of this. Not the fulfillment, but a fulfillment. Hope that helps. Now, I'm not saying I know this for certain. I know that I just want to make clear that I do believe Joseph Smith was the fulfillment, but I think every prophet since has had a role in fulfilling this promise. So the reason I say President Nelson is because this sounds directly like what he was saying in his last general conference talk, that the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple. Now, I'm sure I've talked about this before, but just look at this. From President Nelson's last general conference talk, here is what he said. "Here is my promise to you. Every sincere seeker of Jesus Christ will find him in the temple." Now, it's interesting. I don't believe there was reference to, there's not reference to this. And I'm surprised I haven't actually put this in. Let me show you how to do this, actually. I don't know. So you can highlight this, and then you click, it pulls up this toolbar. Can you see that toolbar? It pulls up a toolbar. I actually want to click this link button. I wish my mouse would show you. I don't know how to figure that out. But then you click Scriptures, Old Testament. I'm going to go to Malachi 3. And I'm going to link verse 1 to this talk. So you can link it. So then you add it and then you just save it. And now every time I go back to this talk, it will link me to Malachi 3 verse 1. The reason I wanted to link that is because I actually feel like he is, which I imagine he did it on purpose, but whether he did it or not, I know the Lord did it on purpose, right? Because this is a fulfillment of this scripture. Let me read it again. "Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord whom ye seek," he will prepare the way before me, "and the Lord whom ye seek," this word seek right there is kind of the key word, "shall suddenly come to his temple." And then what is President Nelson saying? The messenger that he sent for this day. "Here is my promise to you. Every sincere seeker of Jesus Christ will find him in the temple." Okay, so I think that is, sorry, my computer's being weird. Okay. So exciting, you guys. That's so exciting. Okay, let me go back to Malachi because there's actually, I have so many tabs open. Don't worry. Okay, so then it goes, but who may abide the day of his coming? Who shall... Oh, okay. Also, sorry, I forgot to say this before I went on. But this messenger of the covenant. Now, isn't that interesting that Sister Camille Johnson mentioned the covenant? How are we going to prepare the world for the second coming? Well, we're going to do so by this covenant community. First, we are going to make and keep covenants with God ourselves, right? And then we reach out and gather in others. So this messenger of the covenant, it is through the temple. Every sincere seeker of Jesus Christ will find him in the temple. And that is where we make these covenants. But who may abide the day of his coming? Who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. Okay, and then it goes on to say, and he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. I've talked about this recently. I actually want to read this quote because, and I don't know, I'm just going to say right off the bat, I don't know how this is going to look. But it says, let's see, sorry. Okay, right here. What will the righteous sons of Levi offer up? The righteous offering by the sons of Levi seem to encompass at least two elements. So I've talked a lot about this first element, which I'll read right now. First, as John A. Whitsoe notes, the offering in righteousness is here identified with temple work for the salvation of the dead, which encompasses all the principles of the plan of salvation. Okay, so that is one way that this prophecy is fulfilled. We are fulfilling this prophecy now in the house of the Lord. Second, now this is the one that I don't necessarily understand, but it apparently there is a second element to this, and it says, second, the Lord promised that he will purge the Levites so they will become worthy to function again. When he has done this, he will direct the restoration of sacrifices. So I don't know how this, obviously the sons of Levi, which the reason why, sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but I want to go back to the first element of this, of us working in the temple to redeem our dead. The reason this can apply to us is because when we become part of the family of Abraham, we are not like direct lineage of whoever we are. We kind of are gathered into this family of Abraham, and we receive the blessings of all, even though we may have one that is specific to us. So that is why it can relate to us. Now, with the second element, the one that I'm like, I don't really know how this is going to work. I mean, I can imagine, right? Because the sons of Levi were the ones who were able to participate in temple ordinances. That was their whole role early on in the Old Testament, right? So the sons of Levi had this role to play. So it seems to be that there will be a maybe restoration to these pure Levites who will then be able to function again in this role. And then it says that they will direct the restoration of sacrifices. Now, to me, this is, I don't know how to reconcile this, because in a previous video I talked about how Christ said that he fulfilled this law of Moses, that there will be no more sacrifices by the shedding of blood. And so I don't necessarily know how or why this restoration of sacrifices will be done. But I'm okay not knowing for right now. and just kind of waiting and seeing. But our responsibility right now is to, and I go back to that, is because like I may not know how this is going to be fulfilled, but I do know that we have a very important role to play right now, and that is from us going to the house of the Lord and offering our offerings in righteousness in the house of the Lord. And we are blessed to do so. And that is what President Nelson is pleading with us to do. Okay, now I want to go back to Malachi, and I want to take you to Malachi chapter 4. Towards the end. Now, this is the very, very end of the Old Testament. This is the last part, okay? And it's talking about how the day cometh that will burn as an oven. Let's actually go up. It's very short. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall leave them neither root or branch. But unto you that fear my name, the Son of Righteousness, arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in that day. And I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb, for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments. And then here we are. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. So remember how we talked about how Joseph Smith was fulfilled. Elijah came and restored these keys to Joseph Smith. And it's interesting that Moroni, when he came to Joseph Smith, he came and said, this will shortly come to pass. Okay, so I will send unto Elijah before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. That's the end. Like that's the end. And you think, what? I mean, I think people to this day are still stumped. They're still waiting for Elijah to come. But it's so interesting that the thing that will save the earth. Now, he just got done saying, I'm going to burn the earth, like all that do wickedly, But it's so interesting that the thing that will save the earth are these covenants. Isn't that so interesting that these covenants that bind us to God allow us to overcome the world and find rest? That this world is going to be purified, but as we make and keep covenants, we will be able to abide the day. And that, I think, is what Sister Camille Johnson was saying, is how are we to prepare the world for the second coming of Jesus Christ? How are we to change the world? It is through the covenants that God has restored to the earth that bind us to him. And then we gather in those who are willing to come and join us and join God. And that will change the world. And that is what has been promised to save the world from destruction. Now, obviously, there has to be a change. The world is going to change. It's going to become celestialized. And that is why we go to the house of the Lord and we partake of these covenants and we try to change our lives so that we can abide the day, so that we are living or striving to live this celestial law so that we can abide the day. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to be saved. All of us are going to be saved physically, but we will be saved spiritually, and we will be able to inherit the celestial kingdom. I love you guys. I loved this. Now, it's so interesting to me, when we are asked to study, we could have easily just listened to this and thought, oh, that was a nice message, or whatever. But we've been talking for 30 minutes about what we've been in the scriptures. We've kind of dived in and thought, okay, so why, how will this change the world? And I'm sure there is so much left to talk about and to learn. And so if there are things out there that you have questions on or that you want to know more on, I'm sure you can find the answers. And that's what I love about the gospel, is it can be is simple so that children can learn about it, or it can be as deep so that people who dedicate their whole lives to study and prayer and learning can continue to draw from the well of living water. Now, I don't want to get on a soapbox or anything, but the people, I actually got an email today from someone saying hey, will you watch this video and tell me what you think about it? And she said there was someone who said something that I didn't like about, why don't we ever have these deep conversations in church? And there are a lot of voices out there saying, why don't we have these deep conversations at church? And it's are you guys, not you, but are people studying this? Is it something that people really are studying, or are we just doing the bare minimum? Now, I'm not saying that how do I say this? You will receive what you put into it. And so it always kind of frustrates me when people criticize people who teach gospel doctrine or lessons in church, saying, oh, they're just so shallow. And it's I bet most teachers want to go deeper. But if we are not participating in the lessons, if we are not coming, having already studied and prepared to have a discussion, then of course the lesson is going to be surface level. Because if the teacher senses that not everyone is ready to go deeper, then it will remain surface level. So if that is if you guys get stuck in this I learned so much more because people are willing to go whatever, maybe go to church prepared and then bring it up. When a teacher asks a question, answer it so that they know that you're willing to go deeper. The gospel is as deep as you're willing to go. And I believe that even those of us who are willing to find the deep doctrines of the church, right? We're going to realize that the Lord has even more that we've never even realized, because we have to study what we have now and really deep dive into what we have now. Now, that's another thing that I want to say as I finish, is that these deep doctrines, sometimes people think that deep doctrines are these secret doctrines that only a few people know, when really it's deep doctrines are where you can weave in a simple message and then find all the scriptures on that topic that there are, and that is deep. And then you gain a deeper sense and deeper understanding of what the Lord is really trying to teach you. It's not these hidden, obscure doctrines that only a few people think they know, but it is, what is the prophet of God truly trying to teach me? What does he know that he is trying to get us to study deeper so that we can then receive more of? I love this gospel. I love studying the plain truths and seeing how the plain truths then become so much deeper to me as I put in the effort and as I have the Holy Ghost testifying what is true and what is real. That is when the gospel becomes meaningful and deep to me. I love you all so much. Please like this video if you liked it. Leave a comment. Click subscribe so that then you can see my videos when I post them. Hit the notification bell. That'll notify you when a new video releases. And just I thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. And I love you all. And I'm grateful for this covenant community that we have so that we can prepare ourselves and the world for the second coming of Jesus Christ. I love you all. Have a great day.